Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to explore whether or not Namor sucks and why. So first we're taking a look at him with a CTP of Rage versus two stages, 29 of Mephisto and then 39 of Null. Now the 29 of Mephisto, we thankfully have a comparison, so we're going to be comparing that to our level 70 Venom and how well he did on that stage. For the 39 Null, we only really have what we used to do with characters way back in the day, like Moonstone. But I still think that's a pretty decent comparison. So we're going to take that and see what we can do with it here. Let's see actually what the targeting is like on his tier 3. He's in the next... No, he's still not in the next phase. Okay, he's there now. Okay, so there we go. We're out of phase 1. Not the fastest, for sure. You have a nice 4 instant cancel 2, instant cancel into 5. And then you have a bit of a delay on 5. He doesn't have the tankiest defenses, and his heal on 2 is not that amazing, so you do have to pay attention to his hit, his HP, and, you know, sort of manage that a little bit. He's not quite as tanky as, you know, Carnage or Hulk, who have all that healing to go along with their other defensive maneuvers there, but okay. Let's see what we got here. You always have to follow, you always have to use 3 when it's available, because it has the skill damage, bonus damage, which I personally don't like. But we will look past that for now. His movement speed, we're not showing it here because I'm using Valkyrie. It's okay. Probably the best part about Namor's movement speed is that his wings move when he moves. So it's kind of a cute little nod to the character and a nice bit of detail for the build, you know, as far as the aesthetics go. But we're not looking at aesthetics right now. So we're a minute 45 in. This is honestly a pretty good run. And it's bad. It's a pretty good run for Namor, but it's pretty bad in his comparison to Venom. So we're going to be careful here. We use the co-op skill to use his third skill, which is nice. But I'm going to show you here in just a second. Oh, we didn't build up the tier 3 well enough. Okay. So we're right at about 250. We have about 15 bars left. We're going to play this out for sure. But this is where Venom was done. Same exact team, Sif and Valkyrie, pretty much the same strikers. And yeah, Venom was done. So I don't want to get too stressed out about the level 70 comparison, because you also have the level 80 comparison that we can do to both Venom and Carnage. And then of course we have the tier 4 comparison. But when players say that Namor sucks, they're not coming from a place of ignorance. They're coming from a place of, we've just had a lot of practice with combat types, Hulk, Moon Knight, Venom, Carnage, and Namor is not living up to that standard. And that's really weird, because not only is he coming out after Venom, which again, the later, you know, the newer a character is, the more powerful they should be, the later they come out, but he's also an MCU. And we all know that MCU characters should be getting very meta upgrades. That's always been the case. Look at Doctor Strange, right? Look at all these other Spider-Man No Way Home, etc. That's not even MCU, but you get what I'm saying. So, okay, let's take a look. Let's keep playing this out. We're gonna finish off the tier 3 here. Oh, we didn't finish off the tier 3. We lost our targeting. Generally speaking, Namor has good targeting. He doesn't really struggle from that issue with any of his skills. Like his tier 3 has amazing targeting. You can see his movement speed here. It's good enough. It's not outrageously good, but it's also not outrageously bad. Having to always do the 3 before the 6 does hurt. I really wish that wasn't the case, but it is. I really don't like having an effect as powerful as skill damage, bonus damage, being relegated to a skill rather than being on a passive. But that's sort of the issue. We could technically speed this up a little bit. We could probably finish this in about the next 5 seconds if I had played more aggressively. But we're just gonna play this out, and you'll see there. So we finished it. Yeah. So we could have finished it about, I would say, about 5 or 10 seconds faster. So we're still anywhere from 45 to 60 seconds slower than Venom, right? That's not good. Okay, but that's stage 29. Also, keep in mind, just one more thing, although he is a combat type like Venom, so he has the type disadvantage, he has the one elemental type that Mephisto does not have a increased defense to. So it says there that Mephisto has a high resistance to all elements except cold. So even if people were to take the elemental route, elemental damage is not the reason why he's struggling here versus Mephisto, because Mephisto doesn't even have good cold defense. So it must be something else. But okay, maybe not Mephisto. Let's try him against Null. Now versus Null, Namor has another problem, and that problem is a lack of ignore dodge. We are using Proxima's leadership for 45%, but that's all he has. So again, yeah, you could argue that it's not the right, World Boss Legend for him to really bring out his power, but I would just argue that he's just not really well suited then for PvE content, but he's obviously made for PvE content, so I'm not really sure what the devs were thinking with these balancing decisions, right? You made this guy for PvE content, but then you don't give him the weapons that he needs, you don't give him the damage that he needs to really take advantage of PvE content. It's very hard to dodge the cage versus Null with the co-op skill with Namor, because he uses his third skill, and it just has a very small window of invincibility, so keep that in mind. For those of you that want to try to do that, it's very difficult. Yeah, the damage is like lackluster, man. He just doesn't feel like he hits hard. He has weird animations. He sort of like jiggles and jerks the camera back and forth, and I don't know. He just feels kind of bad. I don't know. The animations are cool, I must say. The animations are cool, but it's really not enough. It's really not enough. You cancel 5 when he sort of rises up. You let 6 play all the way out. There is an alternative rotation that people are probably thinking of from the old Namor uni, where you cancel the 6 skill after the initial slam of the trident down. I haven't tried yet to see if that rotation is better, but as you can see here, we're struggling to just get off the ground. So 90 seconds to clear the first phase of Null is pretty much the bare minimum. And this is what I was able to do right back in the day with characters like Moonstone. Moonstone with a regular CTP of energy and double support, like Ebony Maw and Mystique or something like that. She could do this a year ago. So Namor at level 70 is competing with a year-plus old character who doesn't have a uniform, by the way, by the name of Moonstone. So that's really where it's at right now. We're going to take him to level 80 to see if it improves, but it's pretty disappointing to see. Like, his HP stats pretty high. His stats are pretty high, but he hits like a noodle, man. He just hits like a noodle. And his build, funny enough, is actually better than Venom's build was in the video that I referenced. So in this video that I referenced, I'm pretty sure that my Venom has an inferior build. If we go ahead and look here, we can compare 49,000 physical attack versus 54,000, and that's partially due to the Odin's Blessings, because I have a bunch of Odin's Blessings on Namor here. So as you can see here, Venom only had 2 Odin's Blessings on his build, and if we scrub through the rest, he had a CTP of Rage, he had, a regular ISO 8 set. Everything was pretty much equal to or worse than Namor's build right here, where he has 6 Odin's Blessings, stage no artifact, CTP of Rage, and stage 12 Power of Angry Hulk. So with that being the balancing act, it really doesn't make sense why Namor's so far behind. He may catch up at level 80, he may catch up at tier 4, but it really is a difficult sell for a brand new look for Namor, and it's his first look in 3 years. I was really hoping for better balancing from the devs. Even if this uniform wasn't very good at 70, this is his most iconic look, and this is Venom's most powerful look from the comics. King in Black, the cosmic symbiote god, right? The Lightbringer. This is an easy sell. This, not so much. And again, it's MCU, so why not make it balanced and make it good from start to finish? I don't know. Again, Namor may end up being better than Venom at tier 4. I don't know yet, but it's just such a hard sell for players to not know what they're getting, or to be getting an inferior product, an inferior character, until they get to this specific part of the build. I just don't like that in general. So I'm really trying to dissuade the devs from doing it this way, and hopefully we see less and less of these characters. They've been good about it lately, but this seems like a miss. As far as the CTP goes, I know I talked about switching out a Rage for a Judgment, but the problem inherent in that is it makes him weaker for other content like ABX, ABL, and GBR. I'm not doubting what some players are reporting, saying that he's way better with a Judgment, and you gotta try him with a Judgment for World Boss Legend. But I just really don't want to give up those other game modes just for another combat villain, another combat type for World Boss Legend. I'm not really sure it makes sense, and for most players, the flexibility is more valuable, right? For him to be able to carry you in GBR, especially considering for GBR that he has team buffs, right? He has buffs that apply to the team on his tier 3 skill, right? It applies to all allies. That's perfect for co-op game modes. So yeah, instead of swapping the CTP, we're going to take him to level 80 now, and we're going to do just a little bit more testing. We're also going to compare him to Carnage at level 80, because I do have a video of that, and then we're going to see how he performs. So we're on stage 54 of Null. We could not do a straight one-for-one comparison on the exact same stage as Carnage, because from 60 to 64, it is combat and human, which Namor is not a human, he's a mutant. Additionally, we can't do an exact replica team because Carnage takes advantage of Agent Venom, his 30% physical attack leadership, and his 20% chain hit for symbiotes, whereas we cannot use the symbiote buffs for Namor. So it's a similar team setup, but it is 8 stages lower. That's sort of what I think is going to balance it the most. We're using 1 support in Mystique and 1 good leadership for Cable to give him ignore dodge because he desperately needs it. But we are 8 stages lower than Carnage was, even though Carnage has sort of 1.5 supports present. He is 8 stages higher. So Carnage took about 1 minute and 10 seconds. You can see here 351 to get out of the first phase of Null. Let's see how Namor does. And open with 425. He flips up. We're going to go into 3. Okay, then we're going to do the 1. Dodge these tornadoes. 3 into 6. Let this play out. We want this to trigger our next proc. Nice. Try to dodge. Oh, we actually were able to dodge the. We were able to dodge the cage this time. Now we didn't press. We weren't able to press 3 before we went into 6. I just had a difficult time clicking it. We're gonna be able to dodge both cages here, which is very nice. There's just so much wind up on 5. I think if 5 was instant cancelable for Namor, and if they like doubled his damage, maybe he would be better. But no, they don't need to double his damage, but they do need to increase it. I think this is just not good enough. Like, you can always squeeze in 6 right at the end of your rage proc, which is nice. And then it triggers your next rage proc. Like, that has always been a nice aspect of his playstyle, and it's quite different than a lot of other characters. But, you can see here that he's 15 seconds slower than Carnage. So I know he's using 1 support instead of 2. He's using an ignore dodge leadership instead of a 30% attack leadership. But keep in mind, he's got higher base stats than Carnage. So he's got more attack. He's got the same build with a CTP of Rage. And he is 8 stages lower. 8 stages lower is pretty big because we know, especially once characters get to level 80, how fast they fly through the earlier stages. Like, you know, most characters at level 80 can just one-shot anything 30 and under. Because it just doesn't do, it doesn't have enough defense, doesn't have enough HP to just tank, right? So I'm not too I'm not too confident right now in Namor's ability. I like the fact that he has a VPAT skill, but man, his damage is really bad. It feels like 3 does nothing, and it's basically just 5 and the beginning and end of 6 that are doing damage for Namor, which is, you know, really not how it should feel. He should be hitting so hard for a tier 3 level 80 for a premium character with a CTP of Rage on stage 54. Like, come on. We knew that Emma Frost could do stage 50, you know, at level 70, right? So what is really going on that level 80 Namor is struggling this much? Have to dodge that. And use the co-op skill here to just run away. Again, I really like the V-pad. I gotta say, I really like the V-pad. It allows you to just play really funny and then kind of defensive offense. Like, you can play very aggressively and then just eject right at the end, which is quite amusing in my opinion. Don't die here, Namor. But yeah, despite his very high base stats, his defenses leave a lot to be desired. And we're pretty much at the point where Carnage was done. And we're still 12 bars short. So a bit of a spoiler here, but Carnage ends up finishing the fight at about the 147 mark. So yeah, I think we're going to finish this with about 50 seconds left. Oh, wow. Cable cut. Whoa. Gotta be real careful there. I use the co-op skill because I'm a little bit worried. Almost didn't make it. I don't know what Namor is doing. I like that his 5th skill keeps going. That's nice. Got stunned there. Okay. Like, without the tier 3, his damage is sad, dude. Like, do you guys see that damage? That's rough. The bar's barely moving. What were they thinking? Did they actually think that this character would be popular like this? That actually wasn't the combo I wanted to do. I actually don't even know if we're going to have the damage to finish this in 30 seconds. I thought we would finish it by now. I was very wrong. We may have the damage to finish this. We may not. Oh boy. Oh my god, he barely squeaks it in. Jeez, we could have done that a little bit faster. I think to give him as much possible credit and to give him as much benefit of the doubt, because, you know, I'm not playing as well as I could. Maybe he could have finished that with 45 seconds left. That's a full minute slower. Again, I know he's missing a support, but he's also 8 stages lower. Even if each stage only represents 5 seconds, let's just say 5 seconds per stage. 8 stages represents 40 seconds. That still doesn't even make up for the minute plus that he is behind. And Carnage is not a PvE god. We know already that Carnage is slower than Venom. So you're telling me Namor is slower than Carnage, who's actually really good for PvP? I don't know what to say. The last thing I can say, of course, is maybe he's really good at tier 4. But at this point, with the level of marketing for Wakanda Forever, Namor should be on everyone's hit list. Every player should be grinding and putting their resources towards Shuri and Namor. And they're only doing it for Shuri because Namor is a fat disappointment. He's got the abs, but he's a massive disappointment. If he's only good at tier 4, I think it's a loss, right? A lot of players cannot experience every single character at tier 4. So gating characters from MCU content behind their tier 4s to make them good, I think it's just a very dumb thing to do. I think it's a very dumb thing to do on behalf of the devs, and they should really rebalance him. You know, if they have to tweak his tier 4 a little bit and then make him stronger at 70 and 80, they can do that, but I really think they should. Anyways, that's it for the rant here. Namor kind of sucks. We'll see how he does at tier 4 in a couple of days. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.